Thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Jeanette McLeod, and I am a Platinum Leader with Young Living Essential Oils. Tonight is the Juice with Jeanette, and I want to talk to you about a few things that we can do to make our Young Living business successful and just growing and working abundantly. So the one thing I wanted to talk about tonight is kind of a two-part discussion. The first part really goes into inviting somebody, and the second part I want to talk about is promoting events or promoting things. So I felt like these two topics really go hand in hand, and I wanted to talk to this because we need to be changing our game up a little bit with spring and summer on the way, and we want to invite people as effectively as possible. So one challenge that has kind of been brought to our attention is that people are too busy to really pinpoint and get to an information class or a session or whatever you want to call it. So it's getting warmer, the weather's getting warmer, and people want to be outside and they're going away camping and all of that kind of stuff. So we're really finding that people are just harder to pin down. That means that we really need to change our focus and change our game. And it is just a season. It is kind of, part and parcel with the way that it is. But we're going to need to become a little more resourceful in inviting them and enticing them. So the one thing that I have found right now comes around to make and takes. I am not a do-it-yourselfer by nature. If I can buy the laundry soap, I'll buy the laundry soap. I don't want to make it. But this is very useful for my people who need more product education, or they don't have time to come to a class, but they might come if I can entice them with leaving with product in their hands, something that's a little more fun. So we just need to change our game a little bit. Instead of it just being a class, in the living room, we're going to need to think of things that would entice them as to why they'd want to come and spend that Wednesday night with us learning about this, especially when the weather is so nice or my kid has soccer practice or anything like that. So another great way to alleviate this is to do a deck party. You can switch up the time, so maybe do it on a Saturday morning, coffee chat on your deck, or you can have just I stay away from the play date thing, because when you have screaming kids running around everywhere and constantly needing mom, not the most ideal situation, but definitely you could do an afternoon on a Saturday where you had some wine or, sangria or something like that, just to really entice them and change the direction of what this is looking like just in this season. So we often see this happen, and I've seen it happen for 3.5 years now, where it just goes into this cycle and people are itchy and they want to be outside and they want to get outside. So we just need to really work with them. Instead of beating your head against a wall, just be more resourceful, talk to your cross lines. What are you guys doing to get people out? We've talked about before using an enticing thing like a free thing if you come, or if you bring a friend, you get a free hand purifier. Those still apply if you don't usually do them. I was listening to a Royal Crown Diamond today, and she was saying that she doesn't love to give things away because she feels that devalues Young Living. So I understand that, and I see that, and we've seen it too, that when kits are on sale for 10% off, it kind of devalues the kit a little bit. It's well worth every penny that we pay for it, and that's really what we want people to feel and see about it. But that said, maybe it's just a season where you try to give people a freebie for coming and giving it a try. So my encouragement to you is don't be afraid to change the time that you do a session or where you're doing a session, because people are going to be a little bit harder to draw in when they could be outside on a bike ride or playing outside on the trampoline or something. So it might just take a little bit more ingenuity on your part, but it can definitely be done. And inviting people, let me just see, because I did have some notes written about it. I'm not sure. When we go to inviting people, we've touched on this before, and I'm just going to touch on it again because we have a tendency as network marketers in this culture and in this age, this era of technology, to get lazy. And I don't want you guys getting lazy. I've gotten lazy, and it has stifled my business, and I just don't want it to stifle yours. So when it gets to inviting people, belly to belly is the way this business operates best. Yeah, some people can really build their business through social media. I'm not one of them. I don't think it's the most ideal way, and I do think that it's one of those golden nugget situations where they just really know how to market themselves. In this game, I think that belly to belly is the most effective. And when you go to invite people to come to your session, encourage your hosts, if you're not the host, to reach out verbally. Connect with them either face-to-face and say, I would love you to come. And if you can't see them in person, then absolutely give them a call. If you can get their phone number, call them. Oh, but Jeanette, I don't have their phone number. No, but I bet that you're Facebook friends with them. And if you message them, hey, I'd like to ask you something. What's your number? They would give it to you. So don't use that as a cop-out, not a good enough cop-out. If you want, or if you're serious about changing their life, sharing something that you feel is important for them to hear, then you're going to pick up the phone so that they can hear the sincerity in your voice. And, you know, a text message perhaps depends on your relationship with them. That's definitely lower on the totem pole for me. If you're serious about having them, then definitely face-to-face, voice-to-voice, belly-to-belly, anything like that is effective. I absolutely love the little quick looks that have come out of Wild Nation and Debbie Torwalt. I use those when I'm inviting people. I also give them a hot little invitation. So I don't know if you've seen this, but I love it. And it's just this cute little postcard, and it says, you're invited. And on the back, it actually has, it's kind of unclear, but it says date, time, location, and you can fill it in. And you know why I love that? It's handwritten. So I passed these out, and most of my people came because I went that extra effort to physically write it out. And when I knew I was going to see them next, I handed it to them. And I said, I would love for you to come just to hear what I have to share. And I just really, really encourage you to do the personal method because you'll see such greater results for it. That said, we have convention coming up, and we have, it's going to be in Utah. It's going to be from the 22nd to the 26th of June, and it's going to be an amazing time. Do not get sluggish in this time inviting people or making it known that convention exists, because you want to create that excitement. And when you're inviting people to come to convention, whether it's in Utah or whether it's in Calgary, you want them to know how serious you are about it. If you have your shoulders slumped and you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to let you know about this, they're not going to place any importance on it. If you just text and be like, oh, or the worst is, and we've all done this, just tag them. Tag them to the post so they can see it. Not good enough. Tag them to the post after you have made a personal connection with them. I really want you, my favorite tags are the ones that say, hey, Julie, this is the one I was telling you about. Then there's been a personal connection made, that personal invitation. They hear the excitement, they hear the urgency about it. And what we've done, or what I've noticed us do, is that we get super excited when an event launches. And we're like, oh my gosh, convention's here, convention's coming, everybody get your ticket. Boom, 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 get tickets, and then nothing. Nobody breathes a word about it again. So it's really in the last 2 months where we want to create urgency around that. And I know that, I do believe anyways that sales for the tickets are closed, but there's always people who've got tickets for sale, and there will always be some kind of a loophole or way to get that person's ticket and whatnot. So I just really encourage you to keep that hype going, because we want, when new people are coming in all the time and they want to see your excitement, like, hey, why do they want to be here? Why do they want to belong? And they want to belong because A, you are a stellar inviter, and B, because you're amazing at customer service, and then 3, because your passion and enthusiasm is infectious. So if you are a limp noodle, then limp noodles will follow you. If you are on fire, people will catch that heat and they will burn themselves. So that is what I have for you tonight. Again, with the inviting, just make sure that it stays great and authentic and voice to voice. And also just knowing that we're in a bit of a different season right now where we've just got to change up the way we're doing sessions. So don't freak out and don't become really discouraged. I've seen this the last 3 summers, and we can definitely work with it. Don't balk the system, work with it. And so you guys will be able to manage it, I'm sure. If you have any questions, feel free to stay on after this call is over, and we can hash out some things together. But for now, I'm going to call it good. Thanks for joining me. And you guys have a good night.